Show here with, who is it? X, the Go-Go's, I think the Plebs. 79, okay, thank you. And this is a really big hotel, so the punk gig was happening in one room, and there was a wedding reception going on in the other room, and there was like some altercations between the punks and some of the guests at the wedding reception. Somebody called the cops. The cops came and just started beating the fuck out of everybody, especially the punks. Just clubbing people in the head, making people bleed. And it was just like a really big turning point in the punk scene of the late 70s in Los Angeles. So that's why we're here.
You think it has something to do with the area?
No, probably not.
Around here?
No, they just that really marked the beginning of the really bad relationship between the LAPD and the LA punks. Because from that point on, they would show up at every gig and just fuck with people outside. And do police riots and
Are we going to be going by the Palladium?
yes, we are going to the Palladium, this scene of the 1984 Black Flag riot, yes.
Right behind us here was the Starwood. There was a nightclub here during the 80s. It was happening. It was the most happening place to catch punk rock, new wave,
Where's the feedback, man?
and a lot of drugs were going through that place. The owner was also a big drug addict. He was a big dealer. I was caught up in the Hollywood murders. I don't know if you heard about the killings that happened in the Hollywood Hills. John Holmes was involved. Well, this guy was involved too. He was one of the guys that were dealing with all the. Eddie Nash was his name. But I saw in the plasmatics here, I saw Wendy O. Williams cut a television in half with a buzzsaw, with a chainsaw on stage. Only at this place you see something like that. But this was a remarkable place to catch all this music that was anti-established, new wave. It was just everything that was happening in this club back here. And now they've turned into another commercial establishment that I don't know if anybody uses that. But I've been to Rose-Arts, yeah. What are you doing there? Yeah, exactly. See, nobody knows what that is. If it was something useful, I'd talk about it, but I don't even know what it is. The germ? What's up, Joe? From Brunei.
Just also, the Germs played their last show here on December 3rd, 1980. And if you have the What We Do Is Secret album that was released on Slash, you can hear a lot of the crowd interactions. You can hear Darby explaining that he was trying to show all the new kids what the old scene was about. And you can and you can also hear Mike Muir. A lot of people think that's Darby too, but it's Mike Muir. Mikey Suicide, he got into some fight, somebody punched him in the nose or something. But anyway, 4 days later, Darby OD'd, and 2 days after that, or no, 1 day after that, John, yeah, I'm sorry, Chicken Leather, Darby's dead. Yeah, he's been dead for about 28 years.
The whore!
And then the next, like practically the next day, John Lennon was murdered and totally overshadowed Darby's death, like in the national media. So he had the worst fucking timing. He committed suicide 1 day before John Lennon got shot.
I can guarantee you can get laid on the street. That's all I can tell you about this area.
Hey, this is a nice section of town, man. It's got regentrified. We don't need any rock and roll, right? But I'll tell you one thing, we haven't gone by Okie Dog yet. Yeah, we're gonna get there. Many a rock and roller used to hang out there. What?
We're doing this backwards, but actually the Damned played the Starwood here, and that was like one of the first big punk shows in LA, and that kind of kicked everything off. So I wish we'd mentioned that first before we mentioned the Germs. But the Damned played here like in 1977, I think. Yeah, it's in the book, okay. And also, here at the Starwood, there was a lot of really fucking gnarly violence, because the Starwood was where a lot of the violence played out between the new punks from the suburbs and the Valley and Orange County, unlike the older guys from Hollywood and LA.
Oh, they were from the Valley too.
And the Valley too, you're right, yeah. And San Pedro, actually, a couple of the most violent guys here at the Starwood were from San Pedro. So I know everybody blames Huntington Beach for that, but it wasn't just Huntington Beach.
Russell, where do you come from now?
I come from San Pedro. But I was too young. I wasn't there.
I'm from Koreatown. Sexy, what part of town are you from now?
That doesn't really matter, but if any of you are fans of the old Ponch and John show, Chips, yeah, I'm surprised you didn't tell us this, Chicken Leather, that they did a punk rock show here. They did a whole punk rock episode, and the band was Pain, is what they called them. And what did Ponch and John do? What did Ponch and John do?
Oh, Ponch and John, or one of them had they did that song Celebrate by, I think, Kool and the Gang, or whoever that was. And of course they won the fucking battle of the bands, because nobody voted for Pain, the punk band. But a lot of real LA punks were extras in that episode, because they were all broke motherfuckers. They totally sold out their scene, but they needed the money, so they were extras in that fucking shitty stereotype punk episode.
What did they do with the money?
Shot it up.
I smell bacon.
If you guys want to see what the punk rock scene was like, look to your right on Santa Monica at the cops rolling up with the lights off. That's what punk rock's all about. So get ready to have your heads cracked. And also the people who played the Starwood was Flock of Seagulls and Van Halen. It was a mixed club, a bunch of fucking hair bands. And there we go, ride.